When I graduated from university, I also got my life ambition of becoming an officer in the Canadian Navy. At the same time, I became a probationary sub-lieutenant, which is as low as you can get, but it gave you a good uniform with a little tiny stripe. I was offered a job in California to go over to the Persian Gulf and do some geophysical work there. Well, I did that, and I was told that I'd be leaving for Bahrain Island in the Persian Gulf in a couple of months, and I had to get my training done. Well, I said, well, tell me about Bahrain Island. And nobody knew where it was. And in fact, some of them didn't know where the Persian Gulf was. And I didn't, till I looked it up. I was very provincial. So I said, well, who are we going to be working for? Now, this was a geophysical contractor on contract to an oil company. And somebody told me it was the California Standard Oil Company. And I said, well, where's their head office? And, well, San Francisco. I went to San Francisco, went to their office on Bush Street, and went to the receptionist at the California Standard and said, I'd like to speak to whoever's in charge of the Persian Gulf operation. And she said, oh, well, I don't know, but the person you probably need to see is Mr. So-and-so, and he's on this such and such floor. I went up there and spoke to his secretary, and she says, well, what do you want to see him for? Do you have an appointment? I said, no. Well, what do you want to see him for? And I said, well, I want to ask him about the Persian Gulf. Why? Well, because I'm going over there. And she said, well, I'll see if he'll see you. Well, she showed me into his office. We had a huge, big office, a vice president of one of the biggest oil companies in the world. And he said, what can I do for you? And he explained to me what it was like over there. What should I wear? Is it cold? Is it warm? What kind of equipment should I have? And he told me all this. I couldn't get any of this information from my employer. He more or less said, you go and you figure it out. So this man was such a gentleman. And the point I'm getting at is that people in, quotation marks, high places are approachable, especially if you're young and vigorous and you want to know something. Don't ever hesitate to go and knock on somebody's door and say, I need some help, and you're a person who can give it to me. Will you? I'll bet you 10 out of 11 people say, come right in, come on, I'll help you. That was my experience. Just as an aside, when I was working in the Persian Gulf, there was a visit from the brass from San Francisco, came over to see what we were doing. And guess who came up to me and said, well, you got here. He didn't remember my name, and I didn't remember his, but I'll tell you, my colleagues were pretty impressed.